The starting point assumption for this video is that you have been working inside of Animate and you have created a series of keyframes that you will now export as JPEGs and assemble those together to make your storyboard. Now, some basic information here. What we're going to do is export these frames and then make a new project inside of Animate and import those frames and assemble them to make a storyboard. So just to let you know, the maximum size storyboard you could do this way would be just over 8,000 pixels in height or width. That's what the current version of Animate. We don't need anything quite that large. In fact, based on the size of our 800 pixels wide, when we export these, we're going to do it at 40% just to make them a little bit smaller. Our overall storyboard size is going to end up being 1680 by 2280 pixels. And here you can see how I derived at that math, which will be more evident and make more sense as we put this together. Let's start by exporting our frames. So inside the program, you just line up the playhead to where you want, to where it makes sense, to where you have all the visuals that you want for that frame, and then you go File, Export, Export Image. And then, like I said, we're going to go at 40%. In Animate, I have my playhead at the first frame, and then I'm just going to go File, Export, Export Image, and you'll come to a screen here that gives you some different options. So just know these for the future, that you could select different file types. And I'm going to go at maximum quality because we're making them smaller. And we are going to change percent here to 40. So it'll change those numbers to 40% of what they were before. And then we click Save. And then I would suggest, because this will make your life easier, that you create a folder. And then you start naming these in order with some kind of name. I'm just going to go SB for storyboard, and then do an underscore, and then give yourself at least at least one leading zero, meaning so that when you get up to frame 20 would be 0, 2, 0. So the first one will be 0, 0, 1. And doing this extra step is going to make it easier to import the images. So definitely do that. Click Save. Then we can go out, test the image, make sure it's what we thought it was going to be. Navigate it to my folder, double click on it. You can see that image is in there, and if I double click on it, it should show it in preview. And there we go. That looks right. If we want to be super sure we've got the right thing in the right size, we can open that in Photoshop. And then once it's open in Photoshop, not only will we be able to see that it's correct, but we'll also be able to go to Image, Image Size, check the size just to make sure that everything is okay. Okay, so there it is in Photoshop, and I like to do this. You just hit the F key a couple times and it'll cycle through a darker background. Then that way you can make sure you're not getting anything on the outskirts that you didn't want. And then if you just keep hitting the F key enough times, it takes you back to normal view. If you want to see it up closer, just go over to the hand tool, double click on it. If it's a little bit too close, you can do Command minus. And you can see at this close, we're starting to get a little bit of pixelization, but this is not going to be the viewing size. We would only be able to really zoom in one frame at a time. But just keep that in mind for quality. And then the other thing we want to do is go to Image, Image Size. And we should see the numbers that we expected. Yeah, the 320 wide by 180 pixels tall. And then we go back into animate, and you can see I was experimenting a little bit here with some actual animation, but that doesn't matter because all we have to do is get to that next frame that we want. We can keep our sketch storyboards at our side to help us with this, but we may make some better decisions along the way or realize that there are some areas that we need more frames to tell the story better. So I'm going to make this my next frame, and then I'm just going to repeat the steps again as the file export with the same settings that we used before. This time when I save it, I am going to use the same name that I did before, but just change last part to 2. And the way I got this to show up in here, it's a little risky because if you accidentally click save, you could save over the top of the other one, but you just click on the last one that you did, it'll put that same name in here, and then you just replace the last number with the next number. Click save. First couple you may want to test them out, but eventually you'll start to trust that you're getting what you need inside that folder, and then just simply move on to the next. Let's go with that one. Just to speed my demo up after the first 3 frames, instead of making the whole entire thing, I'm just going to export numbers 4 through 20. Okay, so I'm up to frame 7 here. I'll go ahead and conclude this video, make the rest of my 20 frames, and then the next video will pick up with actually laying out the storyboard inside of Animate.